Grammar, building the foundation for French communication. Welcome to the core of your French journey. This course, Fundamental Grammar, moves you beyond memorizing vocabulary lists and into the structure that makes French actually work. Grammar is the skeleton of the language. Words are important, but without the rules that connect them, you can't build meaning that other people reliably understand. In this module we lay that skeleton. How nouns carry gender, how articles signal specific versus general, how subject pronouns replace names to avoid repetition, and how sentence structure tells you who did what. You meet verbs, the engine of every sentence, and learn the essential idea of conjugation, that verbs change form to match the subject. Master these pieces now and every future tense, every complex sentence, every conversation becomes easier. This isn't about rules for the sake of rules. Introduction, from words to grammar. Module 3 marks a key shift in your French journey. Until now, your focus has been on building vocabulary, words for numbers, dates, colors, family, and everyday objects. Now we move from collecting words to understanding the system that makes those words work together. Grammar is that system. It is the framework that lets you move from pointing at things to actually constructing meaning that other people can understand accurately. Without grammar, you have a pile of bricks. With grammar, you have a house. This module introduces the 4 load-bearing walls of French grammar. First, subject pronouns like J, to, Illinois, and news replace nouns so you can speak naturally without repeating names. These tiny words are critical because they control how verbs change form. Second, you will see that verbs are the engine of every sentence. In French, a verb cannot stay the same, it must conjugate to match the subject. That means J power but news parlance, even though the action is the same. Third, you will learn that sentence structure itself carries meaning. Finally, we connect these pieces so you can stop memorizing isolated words and start forming complete, coherent, meaningful sentences. By the end of Module 3, you will not just know what a stylo is. You will be able to say what you do with it, who has it, and whether you like it. This is where French becomes communication. Introduction. Nouns and gender, the basics. Every French noun has a gender. There is no neutral. Every single noun is either masculine or feminine, and this is not optional information. The gender determines which article you use, which form an adjective takes, and how pronouns refer back to the word later. For English speakers, this feels strange at first because a table is not obviously female and a book is not obviously male. The important truth is that grammatical gender is often arbitrary. There is no deep logic that makes le soleil masculine and la lune feminine. Because of this, you cannot guess your way through French. You must memorize the noun together with its article from the very first day. This is why we say never learn just stylo. Learn lo stylo. Never learn just chase. Learn lo chase. The article is not decoration, it is part of the word's identity. If you remember the noun without its gender, you will make mistakes in every sentence that follows. Gender errors are the fastest way to sound like a beginner, because they break agreement everywhere else. So the rule for this module and for the rest of your French life is simple. When you learn a new noun, learn lo or la with it. Say it out loud. Write it together. Make the gender part of the word in your memory. Do that, and French stops fighting you and starts working for you. Nouns and gender. Recognizing gender, helpful patterns. Because French gender is often arbitrary, you need tools to make memorizing easier. While there are no perfect rules, there are strong patterns that predict gender most of the time. These are not absolute laws, and every pattern has exceptions, but they give you a huge advantage when you meet a new word. The goal is not to guess blindly. The goal is to make an educated guess and then confirm it by checking the article. Here are the patterns that work often enough to matter. Nouns ending in age, meant, o, ism, and phone are usually masculine. Think le garage, le government, le bureau, le tourism, le téléphone. Nouns ending in tian, shaun, te, et, ins, and ans are usually feminine. Think law nation, law television, law liberté, law fourchette, law difference, law France. Nouns ending in d can go either way, which is why the e ending alone is unreliable. Law table is feminine but law liver is masculine. This is exactly why the pro tip from the last slide exists. When in doubt, do not trust the ending. Articles, defining your nouns. Articles are the small words that sit in front of nouns. In French, they are not optional. Every noun needs one, and the article you choose tells your listener whether you are talking about something specific or something general. This is how French signals the difference between the book and a book, between a known item and any item. If you drop the article, the sentence sounds broken. If you choose the wrong one, the meaning changes. There are two main types you need for this module. First are definite articles, lu, la, el, and les. You use these when you refer to a specific noun that both you and the listener can identify. Le livre means the book, a particular book you both know about. La chaise means the chair, that chair over there. El is used when the noun starts with a vowel or silent H, like elomi or lo, to avoid a clash of vowels. Les is the plural for both genders, so les livres and les chaises. Second are indefinite articles, on, under. You use this when you refer to any one of something, not a specific one. On stylo means a pen, any pen. On table means a table, any table. Des is the plural, so the stylos means some pens or pens in general. The key idea is specificity. Definite articles point. Indefinite articles introduce. J lu stylo means I have the pen, we know which one. J on stylo means I have a pen, it could be any pen. Master this distinction and your sentences will immediately sound more natural, because you will be guiding your listeners' attention the same way a native speaker does. Subject pronouns, the actors. Subject pronouns are the short words that replace nouns so you do not have to keep repeating names. In every sentence, someone or something does the action. That someone or something is the subject, and French uses pronouns to stand in for it. These pronouns matter because they are the trigger for verb conjugation. The verb changes its ending based on which pronoun you use, so if you get the pronoun wrong, the whole sentence breaks. There are 8 core subject pronouns you need now. J means I and becomes J before a vowel or silent H, like Jame. 2 means you for one person you know well, friends, family, kids. Vous also means you, but it is used for more than one person, or for one person you need to show respect to, like a stranger or a teacher. Il means he or it for masculine nouns, and elle means she or it for feminine nouns. On means one, we, or people in general and is very common in spoken French. Nous means we, as in you plus others. ILS means they for a group of males or a mixed group, and else means they for a group of all females. 2 points to lock in. First, tu versus vous is not just grammar. It is social. Using tu when you should use vous can sound rude. Using vous when tu is expected can sound cold. When in doubt, start with vous. Second, on is everywhere in real conversation. French speakers say on vient instead of nous allons all the time to mean we are going. Learn these 8 pronouns now because every verb you meet from this point forward will depend on them. Subject pronouns. Basic sentence structure, SVO. French sentence structure is straightforward because it follows the same basic order as English. That order is subject, verb, object. The subject is the person or thing doing the action. The verb is the action or state. The object is the person or thing receiving the action. This SVO pattern is the skeleton of most sentences you will build, and knowing it means you can start making sense even with limited vocabulary. Look at it in practice. J lis le livre. J is the subject, lis is the verb, le livre is the object. I read the book. Marie mange un pomme. Marie is the subject, mange is the verb, un pomme is the object. Mary eats an apple. News regarding la television. News is the subject, regardance is the verb, la television is the object. We watch television. The order does not change. Subject first, then verb, then object. This is powerful because it means you already know how to line up the pieces. Your job in this module is not to learn a new word order. Your job is to learn the right words to put in that order. Get the subject pronoun right so the verb can conjugate correctly. Get the article right so the object noun is clear. Put them in SVO order and you have a correct French sentence. From here, everything else is detail. Adjectives, negatives, questions, all of them build on this same foundation. Master SVO first and the rest of the language opens up. Basic sentence. Forming negatives and questions. Small changes in French create big changes in meaning. To make a sentence negative, you wrap the verb in two parts, any before the verb and po after it. This any plus verb plus po structure is the standard way to say not. Je mange means I eat. Je any mange po means I do not eat. Elle parle anglais means she speaks English. Elle any parle pas anglais means she does not speak English. In spoken French, people often drop the any and just keep po, but you must learn the full structure first. It is the correct written form and it keeps you clear in formal situations. Introduction to verbs. The verb is the engine of every French sentence. A verb expresses an action or a state of being. It tells you what someone does, like parler to speak or manger to eat, or what someone is, like être to be or avoir to have. Without a verb, you do not have a sentence. You only have a fragment. Every complete thought in French must have a verb, and that verb carries most of the grammatical information. It shows who is doing the action, when it happens, and whether it is real, possible, or ordered. To make verbs manageable, French sorts all of them into three groups based on the ending of their infinitive form. The infinitive is the base form you find in the dictionary, the to form in English. The first group ends in I and is by far the largest and most regular. These are verbs like parler, aimer, and habiter. The second group ends in ia and follows its own regular pattern, with verbs like finer and choicer. The third group is the irregular group ending in re, oe, and some ia verbs. This group includes common but unpredictable verbs like être, avoir, olla, and faire. No. Conjugation, verbs change with the subject. Conjugation is the process where a verb changes its form to match the person or thing doing the action. In English this barely happens. We say I speak, you speak, we speak, they speak. Only he speaks adds an S. In French, the verb changes for almost every subject pronoun. This is not random. The ending of the verb tells you who is acting, even if you drop the pronoun in fast speech. The verb and the subject are linked. Change the subject, change the verb. This is why subject pronouns matter so much. You cannot choose the right verb ending until you know which pronoun you are using. Start with parler as your example. Je parle uses I, tu parles uses es. Il parle and elle parle go back to I, nous parlons takes ons. Vous parlez takes easy. Ils parlent and elles parlent take ent, which is silent. Same action, 6 different spellings, and 3 different sounds. If you say je parles or nous parle, a French speaker hears the mistake immediately because the agreement is broken. Think of it like this. The subject pronoun picks the key and the verb has to play the matching note. If they do not match, the sentence sounds off. Conclusion. Module 3 took you from naming things to building sentences that actually do work. You started with articles and learned that every French noun needs lu, la, el, les, on, order in front of it. Those small words decide whether you mean the book or a book, and without them your sentence is incomplete. Then you met the 8 subject pronouns. Je, tu, Illinois, elle, on, news, vous, ils, elles are not just vocabulary. They are the triggers that force verbs to change form. You locked in SVO as the basic sentence order. Subject, verb, object is the same as English, so you already know how to line up your ideas. From there you added meaning with 2 small changes. You wrapped verbs in any and po to say what is not happening. You used rising voice, STK, or inversion to turn statements into questions. Then we opened the engine of the language. Verbs carry action and state, and every sentence needs one. You learned that French sorts verbs into 3 groups, with verbs being the biggest and most regular. You saw that conjugation means the verb changes to match the subject, and you practiced that with parlor. Finally, you memorized être and avoir because those 2 irregular verbs run the whole language. They tell you who someone is and what they have, and later they will help you build the past. If you can do these things, you have the foundation. Pick the right article for your noun. Choose the right subject pronoun. Put them in SVO order. Make it negative or turn it into a question. Conjugate your verb to match the subject. That is a complete sentence. The rest of French is vocabulary and new tenses built on this exact base. Review the endings, drill être and avoir until they are reflex, and practice 1 full sentence out loud every day. J.I. parle français. J.I. parle pas allemand. SCK 2 parles anglais.